What altcoins are still hot and worth getting into? That's what we're going to be exploring right now. I'm Joanna Garzilli. This is Crypto Angel Network. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, for liking, and especially your comments. I love interacting with you. And beware of the scammers pretending to be me. I would never ask you for money or send you to a WhatsApp or give you investment advice. This is just my personal journey, my opinion, and you must do your own due diligence. With that being said, let's get into what I really like right now, what I currently have in my portfolio. There are two tokens, they're interconnected. Let's take a look. I'm going to share my screen and we are going to go to VeThor VTHO. VeThor. Am I saying that right? VeThor. So the reason why I looked at this token several weeks ago when it was still 0.006. And it was doing crazy things on the charts. And I just, from the research that I had done at the time, which I will share with you afterwards, because I want you to be aware of certain things so that you can see what's best for you. I decided not to go ahead at that point. I was just a little bit nervous, even though I was very excited when I first saw this token. And some of you here had said that you wanted an analysis on VeTHO, on VeThor and on VeChain as well, which is the other token. And I feel like now is absolutely the time because they have broken out. And if we just take a look here, I'm on the CoinGecko. And if we look at the 30-day on VeThor, they have increased by 254.8%. And in a year, gone up an astounding 9,354.8%. That's almost 10,000x. That is absolutely huge. And so you could say, well, is it too late to go into this token? I don't think so. That's why I've gone into it. And some people have given me a little bit of a hard time for going out of Bitcoin right now, saying I have weak hands. I know Bitcoin's going to keep going up, but I just felt like what I had in it was just sitting there and not making the gains that I would like to make right now. And I know that I can always hop back into Bitcoin later on. I still think, I mean, how are we not going to have mass adoption with all these companies doing Bitcoin from Visa to Square to PayPal? So just coming back here to VeThor, and then let's just go here to, I want to just hop over and show you the VeChain price and why I went more into VeThor. So VeChain right now has gone up within the 30-day period 80.7%, which I like. It hasn't gone up too crazily. And that is why I imagine in this month ahead, there will continue to be great gains on VET. And you can see on the year, they have gone up 3,327%. So you've got approximately 3,000% gain on VET, and then the almost 10,000% gain on VeThor. So these, I mean, I don't feel it is too late. And I think that if you are looking to get into a token where, let's say you don't have such a big budget and you want to be able to have more of them, this is why I like these tokens. Rather than say buying something that is $25, $30 and waiting for it to go up to 35 or 40. For me personally, that is a strategy that I am finding is working for me. And let's just hop over here to the importance, a couple of things distinctions of the difference between VeChain and VeThor, because I know that when I first looked at them on Binance US, and my understanding was they were partly, they were on the Binance launchpad originally. So they had funding come from there. I couldn't understand what that distinction was. And so I thought this would be helpful to go over this with you. So VeChain Thor, in February 2018, they rebranded, VeChain rebranded to VeChain Thor. And the main reason for this was that VeChain overall has been fundamentally or primarily a supply chain that is focused in general enterprise decentralized app solutions, similar to Ethereum. Whereas this new platform for the VeChain tokens and VeThor tokens is going into more of a wider business use. So if we just take a look here at VET, we can see smart money. We've got business activities, financial activities. And then with VeThor, which is the energy, that is the smart contract execution, the transactions, and then the payment transactions. So before, this is really important. For VET, before the implementation of the VeChain mainnet, the only tokens on the network were VEN and ERC20 substitute. And once the team moved away from Ethereum onto their own blockchain, they swapped VEN tokens for VET at a 1-to-100 exchange. VET is used by companies as the smart payment currency to run business activities on the blockchain. Businesses who hold more VET are given higher priority and more rights on the blockchain. And then we move on to the VeThor tokens. If you're a holder of VeThor, you can use them to perform smart contracts and run applications on the blockchain. This mechanism is similar to the way NEO produces gas for its holders. And then also it's a proof of authority here. This is critical, actually. The VeChain team isn't shooting for a completely decentralized system. Instead, they've implemented proof of authority instead of proof of work and proof of stake as their main priority. And the network also relies on additional nodes to maintain the blockchain ecosystem. All nodes receive VeThor as a reward for maintaining the network, right? Which is increases the security of it. And in a moment, I am going to get onto something that was a concern to me in terms of security. And I understand that it has been addressed, but just it's always important to do your due diligence and look at how was this handled, because it was a big issue. There was quite a big hack on their system, but just stick with me with this. So if we keep going through here, I'm not going to go all the way through this. Let me move across here, back over here to I like this also, this distinction between VET and VeThor. So we can look at different angles of what it means for those of us who are not developers or who are not as experienced in decentralized finance and want to have a better basic fundamental understanding. So here we are again on Investopedia. The VeThor token stands for VeChain Thor Energy. And it is used to power transactions on VeChain, right, which is the VET, and is equal to the cost of conducting transactions on its blockchain. And then we've just looked at here, it's similar to Ethereum's Ether and NEO's gas, in that developers need to budget for a certain number of underlying tokens, which are not exposed to the public, in order to conduct transactions for their decentralized applications. So on VeChain's white paper, they have a 2-token system, and that was to be effective for governance and to have a predictable economic model for decentralized application developers. In its current form, Ethereum lacks such a model because the price of Ether. We know that the price of Ether is extremely costly. It's native gas token, and it's also very volatile as well. I think we could say that all tokens are pretty volatile, but perhaps the distinction here is that because VET and VeThor are not going to be fully decentralized, that minimizes a certain amount of risk. And you could say, oh, well, then it's not really proper DeFi. But look, everything's going to end up being regulated within this space anyway. We're just moving, in my understanding, towards a more efficient system in terms of digital finance. developers have to estimate the amount of ether required for a transaction. And this is really important. This is what makes it so expensive for running fees on the Ethereum network, because if the transaction fails and the estimate turns out to be incorrect, then my understanding is the miners, they end up still having to, like, they'll try and process the transaction and then they go out of pocket. And it really is a problem there. So with VET, they allow for proof of work to be conducted for every transaction. And this means that the people conducting a transaction can mine more VeThor if their initial estimate was wrong. So, in that regard, it seems like they have really gone and addressed a problem, a larger problem that Ethereum has had to deal with, right? So there's innovation happening there. And let's just hop over to, I want to go over here to, let's go to about here. I want to just go to some of the team here on VeChain, because when I look at going into a project, this is very important. And I nearly went into VeChain a few weeks ago when it was around, what was it? It was around, I think it was around 4 cents at that point. And I'm kicking myself now that I didn't, but there was a red flag for me. And now I just feel like as I look deeper into it, I felt like mistakes happen. It's about how those mistakes were addressed. So here is their steering team for VeChain. And if we just pop over here, we're going to go to Sunny Liu. And Sunny Liu, here he is. He is one of the co-founders and chief executive officers of VeChain, right, and VeThor. And let's just move down here. He has over 15 years experience as an IT executive in Fortune 500 companies and CIO, Chief Information Officer of Louis Vuitton, Greater China. That's, I think, a pretty big deal. I used to have Louis Vuitton handbag. I know most of you in here aren't interested in that, but I like Louis Vuitton, and so it's a really well-run company. So the fact that he had that position there is a pretty big deal. And in addition, he has a very strong background in computer science and IT strategy and management, and so the list goes on. Pretty strong, right? Strong background there. And then if we also go from the team, one of these strategic partners here is Daniel Kellman, who is on the steering board as well. And what really stands out to me here is, for Daniel, he was working at a prominent New York law firm, and then he went on to open his own practice in 2011. And here's the big thing, excuse me. He is acting as general counsel for Bitcoin.com. Daniel has represented cryptocurrency and fintech clients, large and small. He made headlines in 2013 when he fought on behalf of Mt. Gox creditors to secure and retrieve their funds. And he's been in since the early days of cryptocurrency. So the fact that he really understands the legal and regulatory space of cryptocurrencies, which is constantly evolving at a very, very fast pace, this puts my mind at ease in regard to what I'm going to show you next here. So if we go to Jay Zhang, Jay Zhang was a CFO, and what happened was, and they disclosed this, VeChain Foundation, public disclosure. It's not like they tried to sweep it under the rug. But what happened was they had a big security breach. And that was on the VeChain Thor blockchain and the wallet applications. It says they're intact and unaffected. But what happened was they had a hack that ended up costing them just over $6 million worth of VET and VeThor tokens that were taken from the exchange. And since then, there have not been any hacks. But it definitely, how did they respond? I think that's what's important. So that was when I was ready to go all gung-ho, a number of weeks ago to get this token, because I know it sounds ridiculous to you, but when I saw, like I said, that Sunny was CIO of Louis Vuitton, I was like, oh, okay, that's going to be really good. Like, this has got to be a good token. So, but when then I saw this about the incidents of the hack, I did have some reservations. So how did they address it? Well, December the 13th, it was December 13th, 2019, as soon as they noticed the abnormal transaction, they launched an incident response. They notified all major exchanges. They also went and got the Hacken team, who was working with over 2,000 white hat hackers, who helped to trace the funds and notify exchanges in the Crypto Defenders Alliance. And all the exchanges responded very fast. OceanX, Binance, Huobi, KuCoin, Bitrue, Bitfinex, Bittrex. This is, by the way, this is not, it's not on Coinbase. As far as I know, it's not on Coinbase. I'm pretty sure they're not. No, they're not. That's why I have it on Binance US. And they were able to stop more funds being stolen. So how did they address this in terms of the mistake from the team, from the executive team for VeChain? Well, let's see. The Sunny Liu, he focused on the attack. Oh, I know. How did they? Oh, what happened next? I want to look at internal management decisions. This is what I wanted to get to with you. So Jay Zhang, he forego his candidacy for that upcoming steering committee election in 2020, and he didn't take 50% of his compensation from the entire year of 2020, and he stepped down as the role of CFO to be replaced on an interim basis by another financial controller. And in addition, Sunny Liu said that as the CEO, although he didn't cause the incident, but he was ultimately responsible because he was in charge, that he would give up 50% of his compensation for the entire year of 2020 as a penalty there. So it wasn't like this was just ignored. I feel that the way they handled it, they really did the right thing to take responsibility. Let's move on to, let me hop over to, I want to go over here to show you, hang on a second, bear with me. I want to get to partnerships. Where are the partnerships? Here we go. Strategic partnerships. I think this is why this comes because of Sunny Liu's background and why they're able to get these type of strategic partnerships. And they have around 50 of them, but I just want to share some of the top ones with you. And that is, we've got here DNV Global. And if we just pop back over here to the main, hang on, I'm jumping around everywhere here. I want to show you, where's the team again? I cannot find from, I wanted to show you the main team again. Oh, Renata, what's his name? I cannot find it now. So let me just go back to, this is where I try and line it up so it's nice, quick and easy. But one of the people in the steering committee, who is Renato, something, Italian gentleman, you can see on the main VeChain site, who specializes in supply chain. This is where they have here DNVGL, global operating company that provides audit and certifications services, confirming that organization meets certain requirements. And they specialize in maritime, renewable energy, oil and gas, food and beverage, and healthcare industries. So, this right here is pretty big in terms of a partnership with that company alone does over 2.4 billion. Then there's also here a strategic partnership with PricewaterhouseCoopers, who are a huge firm for accounting, for auditing. And the fact that PwC is going to offer VeChain's blockchain to its large client base. And if you look how many employees just in Pricewaterhouse, 236,000, I mean, it's pretty extensive here. That is a huge, huge partnership. We've also got National Research Consulting Center as well, which is specializes in management, IT, and consulting in China. And another large Chinese company, Yida, is one of China's biggest real estate developers. Another partnership, BitOcean here. BitOcean provides an ATM-based solution for buying and selling cryptocurrencies. So they're working with them. Then this one I think is huge. I don't know, what do you think? And please let me know in the comments, do you already hold do you hold VeChain? Are you interested in it? What do you feel about the hack that happened where that 6 million was taken? How do you like the team? Do you like the direction they're going in? How do you feel about VET and VeThor not going completely decentralized? Do you agree with that? Do you think they should be? Let me know, because some of you are very well versed in DeFi and are developers yourself. And perhaps you could shine some light for the Crypto Angel Network community and what this means and what you expect, what you anticipate is going to be happening for VET and VeThor. So let's just take a look here at the China national level partnership. I think, like I said, this is huge. Guiyang New Area is an economic development zone directly controlled by the central Chinese government. This area has been mandated to become the center of high-tech industries in West China. And we've got to give credit to China that their innovation in terms of technology is just huge. I mean, China, Singapore, Hong Kong, out in South Korea, massive innovation, moving at such a fast speed. So let's see, it's going to be, their focus is on big data, blockchain, and cloud computing. And some of the companies that will launch operations in the Guiyang New Area are China Mobile, Microsoft, Apple, IBM, Huawei, Tencent, and Foxconn. Mega corporations here. So this, this part here, the new zone will become a test zone for utilizing high and innovative technologies to help improve the efficiency of the Chinese government. VeChain is mandated to be the blockchain technology partner of the government to plan, design, and implement blockchain-powered processes for the government of the Guiyang New Area. And I would imagine this is the first partnership of many. I mean, they're really, VeChain and VeThor are just getting going. So that's why where we have all this, you could say, where people have concerns about the alt season and it pumps and it goes high and it dumps. I really feel that with the price, where the price is now on both of these tokens, and that they have a very, very strong use, that how could these tokens not go to $1 plus and then beyond in the future? And how much could they really fall apart? Because there's such a strong use case here. This isn't just some, it's a flash in the pan token. Let me know your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? We've got a number of other, this is very interesting. This helps with to stop counterfeiting direct imported goods. And so this here, we've got estimated 30,000 counterfeit wine bottles are sold every hour in China. So VeChain will be tasked to authenticate and trace winery data from the producers through the supply chain and eventually to the consumer using smart NFC chips in the wine bottles to stop this counterfeiting market. Huge, right? Amazing innovation. China Unicom, right, in telecommunications there for cloud ecological strategic cooperation agreement. We've got some other ones here. Largest Kuehne, can I pronounce this? Kuehne and Nagel transportation and logistics. I mean, again, they're doing billions and billions in revenue here. Largest global freight forwarder, accounting for nearly 15% of the world's air and sea freight business by revenue. This is why I feel these tokens are undervalued. I just couldn't understand why it was taking so long for these tokens to take off. Could it have been because of that hack that happened back in 2019 that slowed down the process? We've got another big logistics and transportation company here, DB Schenker. We've got BMW Group Global. Look at this. VeChain is participating in the BMW Startup Garage program as a venture client, and BMW Group became a customer of the startup when the product, technology, or service is not ready for the market. So they're going to be doing a special program, testing a functional prototype with an application relevant to the BMW Group. And that's going to be amazing. Storage of vehicle data, secure control provision to third parties. So again, in terms of, it's sort of interesting, I suppose, it feels a bit of an oxymoron that VeChain and VeThor, mainly VeChain is meant to be focused on security, and that they had the challenges that they had. Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy. So for those of you who don't know, Louis Vuitton, massive designer, revenue 48.6 billion. I mean, seriously, who doesn't know Louis Vuitton? Actually, I mean, I know a couple of people who don't. But anyway, VeChain is currently working with multiple Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy brands to integrate blockchain and Internet of Things technology into their projects. One example of this is Givenchy bags equipped with VeChain chips, so users can verify if the handbags are genuine or fake. And just so you understand this as well, because sort of like how people love going and collecting art or collecting cars, there's a whole market where people collect handbags. You can buy a Louis Vuitton handbag, say for $5,000, that's limited edition, get it straight away when it comes out, and then you just keep it in the box, sort of like, I guess, like one does with the Nike, with the Jordans. And if you hold on to that handbag that's 5,000 can then become worth 10,000 or more. And I know people, I used to have a client of mine actually out in Taiwan who used to collect these handbags. There's a whole business around it. And the fakes are so good these days. So I just think that this technology is potentially going to, I would imagine, save millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in terms of luxury goods. Let me go back and share the screen with you again. And we got Renault Group, right? Another huge in partnership with Microsoft and VCO. VeChain has created a digital car maintenance book that, thanks to blockchain technology, is tamper-proof. So again, just these innovations, absolutely huge. So if someone wants to sell a vehicle, he or she can share the data about the vehicle. And it's, again, you've got the security in place, and it creates trust between buyer and seller. And I think this is the biggest thing about why with Bitcoin, with Ethereum, and now with these different solutions that are being built, is to create that trustless network. And for my friends here who are newer to crypto, it sounds back to front, but trustless means that the data is there, the data doesn't lie. Once that information is on the blockchain, you know that it's there. It cannot be removed. It is immutable. So these are huge innovations. And again, the list just keeps going on. I mean, food industry, insurance, more car company, it's huge. Health industry for I think out in Cyprus, we've got more fashion companies. Look, then it just goes up. Walmart, China, and then they're doing more stuff. This is another one that is huge. Product lines, tracking a new level of trust and confidence in the products that they buy. And seafood track. This is, look, packaged meat. Walmart's goal is to have 50% of all packaged meat, 40% of vegetables, and 12.5% of seafood tracked using the VeChain Power platform by the end of 2020. So that hasn't, obviously we're in 2021 right now. It's March the 22nd of this recording. I will have to look into that and see where are they at within that process. Cointelegraph Consulting out of Singapore. I mean, look at it. Just the list keeps going on. H&M, big fashion brand that I used to shop at when I grew up in London, that is worldwide now. Huge, right? And there's this, I know there's a medical one at one of the hospitals out in Athens as well for tracking for healthcare too. And if we just hop on over here to, let's just take a brief look right now, the price. You know, it had a spike here up to 0.0246. To me, it just seems so undervalued right now. It seems cheap when you look at all those partnerships and what's happening. I feel that VeThor is a no-brainer. And why I got more VeThor, I might just see, let me just show you a sec. My coin tracker, I've put in a request. I love this software. I'm using it for my taxes, but it's upside down right now. It's showing me it's not correct, but I just want you to see, I've got 591,000 VeThor and I've got 29,000 VET. So, you know, how long am I going to stay in this? I don't know. But I decided I wish I'd taken the position sooner on this. So this is, like I was saying, this number's incorrect. I put a request into CoinTracker. I just want you to know that the price on VeThor token right now, there's a mismatch there where it says 0.00004. That it's not. It's zero. It's around 0.02. It's fluctuating a little bit right now. But I went much more heavily. Like I said, I did just over 11.5 in the VeThor token and 2,700 in VeChain. Let's just hop back over here. So it was up yesterday on the 21st of March on the Equinox at the 0.0246. Right, you know, it's holding pretty strong, and I wish I'd gone in when it was 0.0006. So we're still maintaining there. And then if we hop over to, hang on a sec, I just wanted to show you, this, where this was from FX Street, Akash Jirimath, who says VeChain price prediction, VET prime for its last leg up of a 220% bull rally. And it said, oh, will it break through? This is on VeChain. I'll show you in a second with the price for that. But it said, will it break through this 0.085 barrier, right? Will it get past 8.5 cents? You know, if then we can go on an upswing towards 11 cents, well, let's just go here to VET. And we did break beyond 8.5%. We did go to that. And I'm just keeping it simple here. We went up to 0.0990. And we had quite a bit of volume yesterday. That was on a Sunday. Right now, it's just retracing a little bit down to 0.0949. I just think that the way that altcoins are pumping right now, how is it going to, it can't retrace that much because it did break out, like FX Street was saying here. So I think there's more to go. And I would imagine in the months ahead, quite a bit more. And we'll talk about that in a second, about what I imagine for price prediction. Some of you who have been with me from the beginning of Crypto Angel Network, I bought in at Harmony at 2 cents. And I had said I believed it would go on a run from 10 to 20 cents. And that has just happened. We've almost hit 20 cents there. I feel like VET and VeThor are following in the tracks of Harmony in terms of they're about to go on an even bigger run. And again, what I just showed you in terms of the strategic partnerships for VET and VeThor, I just don't see how they're not going to have huge continued success and growth. And I want to just come over here to VeThor first again. So this is, you can take a look. I really like on Binance.com where they show simplicity of research known as the gas of the VeChain Thor ecosystem. And we've got here, it's the secondary token, the VeChain Thor ecosystem, and functions as the gas for the transactions. So we have that, while the VeChain token serves as a value transfer medium on the VeChain Thor blockchain. The VeThor represents the underlying cost of using the VeChain Thor blockchain as in consumed after certain blockchain operations are performed. So this, again, just do a little bit more research on this, but this is why I just feel that that's why I went in as heavily as I did on this. And I'm, in terms of my position, I can't say how long I'm going to stay in them because the market moves so fast. I have to look at what positions I'm in with my portfolio. I am a newer crypto investor. I am not advanced in trading. A lot of how I make my decisions on investing in a token is from doing the due diligence. Like what we have just gone through in this video, that is how I make the choices to go into something, not just technical analysis, because I feel anything can happen at any point with technical analysis. It can go either way. And I think that what I've been learning lately is it's important to be able to pivot, and to pivot quickly, and not to mentally beat oneself up for a decision one makes. So at the moment, I am feeling extremely bullish on VeThor and on VeChain, and I plan to stick with it for a while. I'm saying that now. Let's see what happens. Even if we did go into a bearish cycle, I just feel there's so much room for growth for the rest of this year, and they're just starting to really get discovered by retail. Obviously, institutions have been in it for a while, not institutional investors so much, but institutions in terms of the partnerships they have. So those are my thoughts on VeChain and VeThor today. And I appreciate you being here. Thank you again for subscribing to Crypto Angel Network, for leaving your comments. Let me know your thoughts. I really appreciate it. And again, remember that if you see these WhatsApp and the investment advice, that is not me. I'm never going to give you investment advice. I just share what I'm doing. You will know when it is me replying to you personally. And thank you for liking. And I'm going to have another video coming up again on Harmony and some other things. I'm going to be talking about NFTs. You can see the picture, the backdrop behind me today is by this fantastic artist, Scotty, who I just met, him and his wife, Angie, at Barrett Jackson Car Show, which is in Scottsdale, Arizona, where I am. And they just have such cool art. I just thought it was amazing. And they gave me this really cool necklace here. It's a phoenix, and so I'm in Scottsdale. That's bigger city is Phoenix. So they inspired me, and hence that is my backdrop today. I am sending you lots and lots of love, and I look forward to seeing you in our next installment of Crypto Angel Network. Lots of love.